Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up our city manager report, and then we'll have public comment after this report.
Thank you, Mayor Brinkman. I just have one item for this evening, and that is to let everyone know that I know the Emery-Go-Round stops that are outside of the Watergate condominiums. The service had been stopped as of a few months ago, and as of this morning, it's been temporarily reinstated. The service is now stopping at where it was stopping before, picking up and dropping off, but it's going to be turning around down at the marina parking lot, so it's going to add, maybe 2-3 minutes to the route. The Emery-Go-Round, the TMA is going to monitor it and see how that affects things, but I am happy to say that as of this morning it is back up and running. We will be having a study session here at the City Council on December 3rd to talk about all things Emery-Go-Round, so long-term, short-term funding issues, as well as talk about the route analysis and possibly some of the governance issues. So that's what I wanted to say tonight, and I'm happy to say it's back up.
I think we all are. Thank you very much for the report. Okay, public comment, you have 3 minutes if you'd like to come up and speak.
I'm Betsy Pooley, resident. Mayor Brinkman and members of the City Council. The December 3rd meeting will address funding issues for the Emery-Go-Round, and I wanted to make some early comments. As a retiree, I spend far more of my money in Emeryville than I did when I worked in San Francisco. The money I spend generates sales taxes that benefit the city of Emeryville, which is a payer into the PBID. Recently, there have been challenges made to providing service to residents of Watergate unless they become payers into the PBID, because it is asserted that providing them service does not provide a benefit to the businesses who are paying. PBID statutes make reference to customers of businesses, and I am a paying customer of IKEA, Trader Joe's, Ross, Pete's, Target, the theaters, and really just about any business in town where you can spend money. And I believe, and I'm sure that just about everyone at Watergate spends some money, at many of these businesses. The Emery-Go-Round states that it's a fair, free system, so when the TMA expresses concerns about serving riders who do not pay into the system, either by PBID or by conditions of approval, just what are they talking about? Are they referring to non-payer residents, non-payer resident customers, or are they non-payer, non-resident customers? And then when they talk about weeding out the non-payers, just how are they going to go about identifying the non-payers? And then once they've successfully eliminated the non-payer customers, who will be providing the additional parking spaces for those of us who took the Emery-Go-Round to various shopping centers but now drive? Or even worse, take their shopping dollars to businesses outside of Emeryville. If a new revenue stream is needed and residents are being targeted to pay into the PBID, it should be equitable, and you should find a way to apply to all the residents. I have no problem with paying for it. I just think that you don't just say Watergate has to pay. All the residents should pay. And so quite a few people have suggested adding a fee for riders. I've been telling people for years, because I've been told for years that AC Transit was the only system that could charge the system. However, I learned from Kevin Levin that actually some of the shuttles actually that are, particularly those that are partially funded by ACTC, do actually require some cost sharing from riding. So I think that's something that you should take into consideration. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else for public comment? If you want to speak, would you just please queue up, and we'll get this all sorted out.
My name is Sue Cali, 4 Admiral Drive 423. I work at the Clipper Club, where we have had many active Watergaters sign a petition to reinstate the Market and Police Station bus stops. Many today said they'd heard rumors yesterday that the buses were going to come back to the abandoned sites today, and indeed, there have been many sightings today. However, we also heard it is only temporary, and many feel strongly that this reflects the notion that we ought not be used as some sort of a bargaining chip here in the up-and-coming funding strategies. What we would like is for it to be a permanent solution, and we will be at the December the 3rd council meeting in full force with the rest of our 2,289 petitions signatures and from other people in Emeryville, which will address the temporary permanent solution. See you then.
Excuse me, I didn't catch your name.
Can you ask people to sign in, maybe?
Can you sign right over here, please?
I did.
Oh, okay. Come on up.
Hi, Nora. My name is Francis Collins. I happen to be a property owner in town, but I am on the bus board, the Emery-Go-Round. I will not say as much as I was going to say before because we're going to have another meeting regarding the funding for it. I was here originally to speak about when I heard that the bus stop down at the Watergate was stopped because of the turnaround. I thought it was even as a payer for it, that I believe that the way it's funded now is not legal. That issue there is of no consequence. Who cares? Nobody cares. But the funding of the Emery-Go-Round will be in doubt in 2016. No one's going to bother with it till then. And I believe there's ways to fund it that would solve the problems if people want to do it. At the next meeting, we'll talk about the possible ways of funding it. And this way of funding may even solve your problem of the bridge and bike paths. I'd like people to know that the amount of money collected by the transportation agency, Emeryville, and even this area, Berkeley, does not get anywhere near its fair share, given the money we put into it. So after that, we can talk. Now, I would also like to speak. I've heard around town that Mr. Ken Bukowski is somehow bad man. Ken is the one who I've been talking to for the last couple of years. He loves Emery-Go-Round. He thinks it's great, and he is trying to save it. He has come up with some ways to save it. He has held off people who wanted to try to sue right now and get it stopped. He is the one that talked everybody out of it and says, well, wait till we have the renewal and see how that goes. But Mr. Bukowski likes Emery-Go-Round and wants to save it, and he's trying his best. He is not trying to harm anybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Maurice, can you grab the microphone? Would you be so kind, Maurice?
Do we have a portable mic? We have a handheld.
There we go.
Should I hold it? Okay. Hi there. My name is Jennifer Fair. I live in Watergate as well. And I just want to say I moved here about 4 years ago. And the Emery-Go-Round was actually one of the biggest factors for us moving here because of the convenience and it's accessible. And we were really disappointed, my husband and I, when it disappeared. If about 20%, I believe, the residents of Watergate are the population of Emeryville, I think it's important to consider us when we are making changes to the transit. And to be honest, if the businesses don't want to support the Watergate residents getting to the businesses, then I probably will get in my car and drive out of town to shop elsewhere. And I am sure that there's going to be an influx of traffic we're going to have to continue consider as well. And lastly, probably most important to consider is by taking away the stop permanently, if that's what we end up doing, is going to be taking away the freedom of and independence of a lot of residents who are elderly or disabled. And I think that's just plain unethical. It's just unethical, and it's going to be bad for business in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken Bukowski, come on up.
Hello, my name is Ken Bukowski. I am an avid supporter of the Emery-Go-Round. And once getting off the council, creating a property owner association, I discovered that it wasn't fairly funded and the funding was illegal. So the next step is to try to pursue a reasonable solution to the problem. I think Emeryville needs to create its own local sales tax measure to pay for this because we have no assurance that the county is going to take this over, and we have something here that we want to preserve. I mean, residents complain that they're not getting particular better service, and that's because it's aimed for the businesses. But if we have a funding source that's local, we can fund it in perpetuity. You know, if the county decides to take it on, which they probably should because we're not getting our fair share returned, then that's great. But I'm not sure if we want to see AC Transit run it. I think the present operator does a very good job, and I would be concerned if AC Transit was going to run it. I couldn't be assured that the schedule was going to be kept or that they would even continue the service. So I think we need to bargain with Alameda County if that's what we're going to do. I think we need to maintain the present operator, and I think we need to make sure the service lasts for a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Oh, please.
Hi, my name is Finley Robbins. I live at 6 Commodore Drive, and before the emails went out this morning about restoring the service, I actually just wanted to talk about restoring the service. But now my question is, it's been said that it's temporarily restored. So what does that mean? What is temporary? Because I do feel it should be fully restored permanently on a full schedule, hopefully not what I had heard before, that perhaps it would be just 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So what does temporary mean at this point?
Yes.
An attempt to answer that. At this point, you know, and this is really up to the TMA, the city doesn't have any authority over the bus routes at all. So they've agreed, you know, again, starting today, to temporarily restore the service. I can't answer what that means. The board is going to have to address that. I believe their next board meeting is, Karen, in January. And so we have a commitment to have the service up and running now, and you know, have the further discussion on the 3rd of December, and that's all that I can say.
Okay. Public comment?
Toby Klein. I live at 6 Commodore as well. There's one thing that did not come up in any of the conversations, which I would just like the board and the public to be aware of, and that is we talk a lot about public safety. Last month, almost all of the Emeryville police force came to talk to us over at the Clipper Club at Watergate, and one of the things that they stressed was public safety. They don't want people walking alone in the dark. They don't want people out on the streets in the dark, not alone. And thinking about the people that use the bus service to come back from the BART when they come home from work, I can't imagine that this town and this board and anybody that's involved in any sense could want people getting off the bus over somewhere else and having to walk home in the dark at night. I think it's against every principle that we ever have expressed in this place.
Thank you for that comment.
Joyce Jacobson, 4 Admiral Drive. First of all, I want to say this was a very good day. I got on the bus at 11 o'clock this morning, went over to Trader Joe's, bought some stuff, and came back again. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the work. I particularly want to thank Sabrina, and I want to thank the TMA if any of their representatives are here. I guess at least one is here. So there is something that needs to be done that we've talked about, which is in order for the bus to turn around, they need to remove 2 parking places on the south side of Powell that are directly across from Admiral Drive. And I've observed this many, many times as a bus rider, because I sit up front, usually close to the driver. We talked about this about a month ago when we talked about it in Transportation Committee. And it hasn't been done yet. It just requires a paint a red color on 2 parking spaces. The driver can't quite make it past the cars that are parked there. So I brought something for you.
Joyce, are you...
At any rate.
Thanks, Joyce.
Thanks, Joyce.
Yeah, that might be a very quick, temporary fix while you do something a little more sophisticated, but the bus just misses that parked car by a very short distance. Yeah? Okay, and then they can just make a smooth turn. Okay. What has happened this past few weeks was traumatic for our community. And I would like to say that I feel the TMA needs sensitivity training, number one. Number two, I think they need some education about what real day-to-day life is for the people who live in Emeryville. I don't think they get it, and I don't think they get why we need bus transportation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have chopped us off the way they did. I mean, we've had that bus service for 16 years, and you don't just, get rid of it like that. There are some very good things that have come out of the past few weeks and this rather awful experience. The residents of Watergate have found their voices on this subject, and the thing that has interested me is we not only have the bus riders of all kinds speaking up about this, we have many non-riders who live at Watergate who also are just as concerned about reinstating the buses and maintaining them in the future as the riders. I mean, it's a very big consensus there that having a bus service is important.
Joyce, I hate to cut you off, but that's been the 3 minutes.
Okay, beg pardon?
You only have 3 minutes. And
Oh, okay. Am I through?
Yeah.
Okay, let me
but
just
come
say,
back,
I
Joyce.
want to say one final
Okay,
thing.
but come back on December 3rd, so you'll get.
I can come back again?
Well, I meant, no, well, you can come back on December 3rd. But
Oh.
finish your statement.
Well, I'll just say that we've been educated, and now that we've got the service back, we can turn our attention to the funding problems. And we want to work with you and with the TMA. We don't want to put all the burden on the business community.
Thank you for that comment. I appreciate that. Okay, anybody else? Uh-oh. Hey, Jerry.
Come on, Jerry. Come on, Jerry.
I was just thinking, Christmas is right around the corner. And you got the beard now, so.
I'm Jerry Fishman from 3 Admiral Drive. I know some of you, so I guess that's where the "oh" came from. You sort of know what you're going to get, huh? Anyway, I've lived at Watergate long before the Emery-Go-Round was in existence, before it was even thought of. At that time, I was a young buck. I had a car. I could just come and go at will and everything else. Well, since then, with the encouragement of friends of mine and I think the general public, about a year and a half ago, I gave up my car because I felt the Emery-Go-Round is there. I can get around. And now I feel isolated, or have been. And I mean, if you could follow me walking down to the towers, what used to take me 5 minutes would take me about a half hour. And I'm not kidding. I mean, I'd have to stop every so often. The same thing when I go to the gym, which is like 2 blocks at Watergate. For anybody watching me, they probably think I'm nuts because I'm pulling my gym bag and I'm stopping and catching my breath and looking around. I don't know what they think. But anyway, I just want to say that I'm an example of who is suffering because of the Emery-Go-Round stopping the service, and we really need the service. And one other thing I want to emphasize is that in the contract of the memo of 5, I don't know if that's 2 or 7, 2013, they mentioned that there would be that once the streets were all taken care of and everything else, there'd be a stop at Admiral. And I know that it seems like it's not very far to get from 3 Admiral to the stop at Commodore. But like I said, if you could follow me around now, you'll find out that it is an effort. And so it would be nice if they did put a stop at Admiral Drive as they had planned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, anybody else that hasn't spoke about the subject before?
I just wanted to show you how many signatures we've gotten already, and this is just from the Clipper Club.
Well,
25 pages.
it's very, very impressive. Okay, anybody else on this subject?
Thank you all for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
It's a really extraordinarily important issue, and you coming out tonight was very important for us to see.
So remember, come back.
Come back on the 3rd.
December 3rd.
Yeah, and if I can add one more thing, I think what I've heard tonight and also from emails is how important it is to have reliable public transportation, not just public transportation every now and then, or you know, I think this idea of temporary is especially threatening because people rely on it. And we've heard about that in other parts of town as well when we talk about, you know, reducing parking or changing parking structures, trying to encourage people. I keep hearing unless you have the reliable public transportation, it's hard for people to change their ways, give up their cars, et cetera. So it's really important, and I hope as a community we can really solve this problem that will benefit not just Watergate, but all of our community. So thank you for speaking on that tonight.
Okay.